Nigeria heading towards a major constitutional change that will see states establish, fund, and operate their own security? What are the legal frameworks that will be put in place to ensure that this takes off smoothly if eventually adopted? And how can the state police and federal police operate together within the same polity without clashing? Let's have this discussion and more with Anthony Agbazuere, a professor of law. Good evening and thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
We just watched that report together. Let's start with the constitutional implications, right? Nigerian Constitution centralizes policing. Section 214, that no other police force shall be established for any part of the Federation. You now have all 36 states making their submissions. Do you sort of envision, or what sort of necessary constitutional amendments need to be implemented, particularly given the history of Nigeria's sort of resistance to decentralization in the country? What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you very much. In the first place, I would prefer to start. I will address your question. I would prefer to start by commending President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If you watch what is going on, he's the one coming up with these ideas from the executive. And it shows the man is a visionary leader. It shows he's committed, he knows what he has come to do. And I believe that with time, things will get better. The local government autonomy, it was from the executive they went to the Supreme Court. Even what is happening in the universities, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, where they had problems with VC, the president intervened. Then the Oko Federal Polytechnic, I think they will also intervene. There's a problem there now. Now back to what you asked. Constitutional law requirements vis-a-vis amendments as it affects the state police. You see, let me tell you, in the first place, it is an aberration. What we are practicing in Nigeria is an aberration. We are running a federal state. And because we are running a federal state, federalism does not connote that we have a unitary system of policing. We borrowed this system from other, major countries of the world. Look at America. In America, you have the local police, the county police, the state police, and the federal police. In fact, even the payment of police officers in America is not the same. In California, that's why you get the highest paid police officers. So that is what it is supposed to be. And that is why I copiously commend President Tinubu for what is going on, these transformations now. So then it will require, of course, constitutional amendments of section. You mentioned section 214. It's not just 214. Section 214 will be amended. 215 will be amended. 216 will be amended. 214 talks about the establishment of the police force.
Yes.
Then that's 214. 215 is talking about powers of the IGP. Then 216, then delegating powers to the IGP by the National Police Council with the approval of the president and all of that. And again, other existing laws like the Police Act, particularly Section 3, will also be amended. But even those other existing laws are not too important. The moment there is an amendment of that constitution, pursuant to Section 1, subsection 3 of the constitution that says that this constitution shall be supreme, and any other law that is inconsistent with this constitution shall, the rest of this inconsistency, become null and void. Then the moment that constitution is amended, it will not affect other existing laws and they will be thrown off. I can tell you, it is the best thing if you watch what is happening in this country. Verily, if you get somebody from Borno State, Meduguri, for example, you take him to somewhere in Abia to now go and police the place, a police officer. He doesn't know the track roads. If you don't know the track roads, you cannot. Community. Yes, you don't know that community. You cannot pursue criminals. And I can tell you too, you see, in the locals, you know your people, you know those who are bad people. When you pursue them, and they even know you too, as police officers or people pursuing crime, they will be careful that because you still come and catch them.
So we've established that you're of the opinion that we need state policing, and there's a lot of constitutional amendments to be done. But we have critics arguing that, look, devolving police powers to states might lead to politicization, potential abuse by sort of local elites. What safeguards or frameworks can you propose to ensure that state police actually enhances security without exacerbating the issues that we already have?
You see, those who are basically, like, for example, now, an IG of police who does not want his power shared, or a commissioner of police who wants to maintain the status quo, will be talking against this. It becomes an act of selfishness. That is the truth. You see, look, the moment they are prepared to do it, some of us are ready to come and help them draft the proper laws Let them also see what is happening in America. Every other federal state in the world, it's only Nigeria that you see what is happening unilaterally. So nobody should be afraid. The important thing is security of lives and property of our people.
Yes.
If just like this Transcorp, for example, if you go to a place like say Transcorp now, anybody who is coming there for the first time wouldn't know where to enter, and so on. So it is the best thing. And I also was while I was watching there, I discovered that the 36 states had kind of turned in their position paper, except the FCT. That is also wrong. That impression should be noted. Section 299.
Yes, I was going to come to that.
Yes.
The FCT, not considered a state, right, is yet to submit its own recommendation. What do you think about this exclusion? Does it raise any sort of constitutional questions about equal security provisions for all the Nigerians, particularly those of us who live in the FCT?
Thank you so much. These are areas I measured. So you see, when people, even though that our constitution as it is not touched on us, it's not home rule, it's not from people, but it remains the law until amended. If anybody says the FCT is not considered as a state, the person is wrong. Go and read Section 299 of the Constitution. Section 299 is saying that by the provision of this Constitution, the Federal Capital Territory shall be treated as if it is one of the states of the Federation.
Okay.
Are you getting the point? Now, Section 300 says that based on Part 5 of the Constitution, that the FCT shall be seen as a senatorial district. That Part 5 is talking about legislature, vis-a-vis those that will go to National Assembly. But you come back, you now see that there's a distinction between that 299 and 300. 299 is very copious, very clear. It is a state. Besides, in that 299, if you go down to read it, subsections 2 and so on, you see that they now said there, provided there, that the position of a governor and that of the House of Assembly will also apply, in the sense that the House of Assembly will be the same thing with National Assembly, making laws for FCT, and then the powers of the governor shall be exercised by the president. And the minister is there acting with the directives of Mr. President. So you see that they should also turn in their own. They have no reason. Maybe they've not seen that. Not to
submit their own.
Yeah, they should submit their own report.
Excluded.
They shouldn't be excluded because they have those powers. In fact, the governor of FCT is the president. The House of Assembly of the FCT is National Assembly. Now, but there's a minister who has to be appointed by the president, working, and everything the minister is doing is assumed to be approved by, pursuant to the provision of the Constitution, by the president. So they should also turn in their own report. And I can tell you, I commend President Tinubu. This thing will help us. Okay. Nigeria will be more secure.
You spoke about how when everything is ready, there are people like you who can come in and drop the necessary legal drafts. What sort of strategies are you proposing to actually make this work? And looking ahead, January 2025, National Economic Council meeting, where sort of a definite position is expected. What other legal, sort of administrative hurdles must be resolved before this transition can be made? Because there has to be a lot of ticking of boxes before we can transition into state policing. It's not just easy as ABC.
Yes, you see, pursuant to two things, pursuant to the provision of Section 9 of the Constitution, that has told us how to amend the Constitution. What is required there is 2/3 of members of National Assembly and then 2/3 of Houses of Assemblies by resolution. If it would have involved amending the way the Constitution is even to be amended, or Section 4 of the Constitution that has to do with fundamental rights, then the requirement will be 4/5 of National Assembly, then 2/3 by resolution of House of Assemblies. Now, what is required is, you see, look, Supreme Court at times too, if they have some issues, they invite some lawyers, come and address us. Some of us are available. Now, and the issue is to now delimit jurisdictions. That's all. Federal police, see your limits. State police, see your limits. Local police, see your limits. And before you know it, in the next 2 years, it's not that there won't be crime. It will be too low. Every Nigerian will be happy. And then you see the change that we have been clamoring for. That's what it should be.
Thank you so much. That's where we'll leave it. Anthony Agbazuere, Professor of Law, Gregory University, Abia State. Thank you so much for your thoughts on state policing in Nigeria.